Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Tuesday, November 25th. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
In St. Remy, the town and local hockey team are remembering two brothers who were hit and killed by the Rem this weekend. The team's manager says they were their parents' only children. The news has left residents reeling. This is Simon Brochu's jersey. Manager José Leclerc refused to talk to us on camera today, but said both brothers played here for years, including with her two sons who are devastated. Over the weekend, Simon's team came together to hug at center ice, many in tears over the loss of the 19-year-old. Simon was working in the family construction business and was out celebrating his older brother Samuel's 22nd birthday when they were both hit. According to police, they were trying to cross Highway 10 and the REM tracks when the crash happened. A third victim, who Leclerc says is a former teammate, was also critically injured, but is now stable in hospital. Simon was declared dead at the scene. Samuel died Sunday evening. Leclerc says the group was trying to meet up with their designated driver at the time of the accident. In a statement, Pulsar, which operates the REM, says we remind everyone of the importance of respecting safe zones and never accessing the tracks for your safety, as crossing the REM tracks, like any other railway tracks, is very dangerous. This is why the entire REM property is fenced. In town, residents were shocked by the news, including one couple we spoke to whose daughter knows the family. Our daughter expressed her condolences to the parents. It's a nightmare to think about losing your children. It's incredibly sad, especially now before the holidays, said this woman. Leclerc described both brothers as hardworking men with bright futures ahead of them. Samuel had just graduated university as well. Mental health experts were on hand to meet with the team. The league hopes to speak with the parents, but would like to raise a jersey in their honor. Kelly Gregg, CTV News, St. Remy.
Police have charged a woman and 4 men with conspiracy to commit murder in connection with the double homicide of Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier. Those charges were laid here at Moncton Provincial Court this morning. 78-year-old Bernard Saunier and his 74-year-old wife, Rosemarie Saunier, were found dead in their Dieppe home on September 9th, 2019.
It's not over when the first charge is laid. It's over when the case is solved. And in this case, we knew that there was more to be done. And although it's taken this long, we will never stop until all avenues are properly investigated.
Jansen Brian Baker of Moncton was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in this case in 2023. Monique Alicia Boyer, Jesse Todd Logue, Nicholas Daniel Bain, and Christopher Allen Lennon are the other 4 accused of conspiracy to commit murder. Police say they were able to determine all 5 had conspired to kill Silvio Saunier, the son of Bernard and Rosemarie. Silvio Saunier died in January 2023. Police say foul play was not suspected. The case was handled by the RCMP's Major Crime Unit,
which has some of the best professional, talented people that we have in the province. And so these are investigations that obviously involve a lot of people.
In February of this year, Jansen Baker was sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting a teacher outside Riverview High School in 2021. Baker will go on trial for 2 counts of first-degree murder in January. All 5 of the accused who are charged with conspiracy to commit murder will make a court appearance 1 week from today. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Demolition work continued through the morning. All of the missing accounted for, with fire marshals clearing the scene yesterday evening.
I can confirm that 4 people lost their lives on scene here, and it's 3 adult females and a young toddler. Sadly, one of the patients at hospital of the 4 was pregnant. She underwent emergency surgery, delivered that baby, and that baby has since passed.
3 people were originally reported missing.
Of the 3 people that were unaccounted for, 2 have been located deceased, and 1 has been accounted for and is safe at the hospital with his family.
The only member of the family not injured or killed saying on a GoFundMe page he was away for work when the tragedy occurred. Jugraj Singh went on to describe their collective heartache while adding to the deceased, my unborn baby after my wife, Arshveer, who was pregnant, survived by jumping out of a window but suffered severe injuries. 4 other members of the family are still in hospital, all currently in the ICU, suffering from severe burns and receiving critical medical care.
My children, they know some people that live there, and they attend the school here. It's heartbreaking, right? Because I woke up with the with the police sirens. Woke me up.
I was shocked. Like, as a parent, I was shocked. I don't know what is the reason. How can we fix this?
That's very sad. That's very sad, whatever happened. I mean, so many people lost their lives and everything.
Today, the fire marshal extended his deepest condolences to the family.
This event is a stark reminder of the devastation that fire can cause.
Saying investigators had located smoke alarms in the home and would now need to determine whether those alarms were in fact working.
I implore with each of you to test your smoke alarms today and practice your home fire escape plan. You only have a precious 60 seconds to escape a fire, and that time should be spent following your escape plan, not preparing it.
Don Pegg's pleas echoed by Ontario Solicitor General this morning.
It's a tragedy beyond measure. In the end of the day, there's a requirement, I think, on all of us, all Ontarians, that in our homes we must have working smoke detectors. We must have fire extinguishers. We must discuss with our own children, I have 3, as to how to escape if the house caught on fire.
The fire marshal says there have been 92 fatal fires in Ontario this year. 106 people have lost their lives. Brampton's mayor says the home was owned by an absentee landlord who'd applied to turn the basement into a separate unit in 2019. He adds that over the course of 6 years, several orders to comply were issued, but each was ignored. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Police are looking for these 3 people seen walking around Lefroy Saturday evening with a gas canister after 2 separate fires.
So when you have people walking out in the street brazenly, such as these individuals, carrying gas cans without any care in the world, really, that's concerning for the community.
The first was reported in this former fire hall. It was significantly damaged. The fire catching everyone's attention nearby. Dave Perry lives across the street.
Saw a flash out of the corner of my eye because I was watching my computer, and I was looking, and I started seeing lights around the old fire hall.
Those lights turned out to be the fire. Police say things escalated shortly after crews showed up.
While they were on scene here, they heard an additional explosion right behind us here at the Morgan Russell Memorial Arena, and were drawn over to this area where they had found additional evidence of another fire that had been set.
Several homes equipped with video surveillance captured the trio walking through the neighborhood with the gas can. In fact, police say many of the cameras caught a good look of the suspects, including the one at the hockey arena.
We've received a lot of tips, a lot of videos. The town of Innisfil has been a great help with their video footage as well. So at this point, we're comfortable saying that there's 3 suspects involved.
Now, police are hoping someone recognizes one of the people in those pictures and comes forward. Police are also asking people who have video surveillance in the area to check their recordings. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Lefroy.
Light rail in Orleans, almost ready. But many riders are still guessing on a date.
So we're looking at New Year now, and I'm looking forward to that train. It takes me an hour and a half, 2 hours to get home sometimes.
Now a closer timeline of the opening of the east extension of the Confederation line.
We like to talk quarters. Are we talking in the first quarter, or are we talking the first couple of months? You can't do December, it's Christmas. You can't do January, people are on holidays.
OC Transpo boss Troy Charter saying early 2026 is achievable.
You know, at this point in time, you know, a lot of things still need to go right, but it's definitely achievable to say Q1.
The east extension will run from Blair Road all the way to Trim Road. It was originally supposed to open in 2022. Then it was pushed to 2024, then 2025, and now scheduled for some time before April 2026.
It's going to be interesting how it works out.
It's always packed. It's full. There's some weird scents. The escalators aren't usually working.
The city is counting on the East End extension opening for potential revenue as part of next year's budget. Also included in the budget is a 2.5% fare increase for transit users.
It's just hard to swallow the fare increase with the kind of service that it provides.
So they cancel a lot of journeys, especially in the winter. We are freezing in the station.
Ridership did get a bump this fall with more people using transit in September and October. But ridership is still only at 80% of pre-pandemic levels.
0 to 10, say solid 4.
Why?
Delays, the fares going up.
You know, I don't want to use the word happy, but I'm happy that we've been able to sustain the level of service we've had, given the challenges that we faced. But I recognize that we need to show improvement, and that's something that you're all expecting, and something our customers are expecting to see as well, and we're committed to that.
So what has to go right to meet that early 2026 target? They need to work out all the deficiencies and safety issues. They also need to go through a process called the substantial completion. Independent certifiers need to sign off, and then they need to undergo a complete trial running period, and it has to be successful. Patricia.
It's a lot. And Leah, the Transit Committee approved the 2026 transit budget today, but we know councillors are also looking at some other changes for riders next year.
Absolutely. So council will now vote on that fare hike, but they're also going to weigh in on a plan that could make transit more affordable. That includes things like free rides for those under 18 on weekends and on holidays, or extending the transfer window, so that would save commuters paying more than once on a single trip. But of course, all of that costs money, and there's already a $47 million hole in the transit budget, so it isn't clear exactly where the money for that will come.
It's an important community for New Democrats. You know, we are the party for workers, and Sudbury is a working town. So for me, it was very important that I took the time to come to Sudbury to speak to people in Sudbury about the issues that are facing them, the concerns that they have.
McPherson is the second NDP candidate to come to Sudbury behind Rob Ashton. But also in the running is Tennille Johnson, Avi Lewis, and Tony McQuail.
The fact that we don't have any NDP MPs in Ontario is very problematic to be able to be heard in the House of Commons on a different perspective. And so I really think that every candidate should be coming through to see what is going on here in the North, and I'm sure they all will.
A housing roundtable occurred today highlighting the community group's concerns regarding affordable housing for the growing unhoused population.
Our provincial government doesn't believe or invest in people who are poor. The rates of OW certainly attest to that. There's no way for them to get out of that situation.
There's a lot of I don't know where else to send you. $730 is nothing. They can't afford a room. $1,000 and up for a room.
Listening to everything you're saying, I mean, the first step in our plan is to declare a national housing emergency. Because that helps us mobilize funds, because that helps us mobilize resources to deal with it at the scale.
McPherson says she plans to address Parliament regarding the housing concerns that were brought up at the Sudbury Roundtable before the NDP leadership debate in just a few days.
To see that she follows through on that, and eager to know that the government will hear again from some advocates on what the issues are and the pressing nature of those needs having to be met.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Dr. Jeffrey Sloka's lawyers say there were medical reasons for the exams he performed at his private neurology practice in Kitchener. Sloka is facing 50 counts of sexual assault. The complainants, all female patients. Some received vaginal exams, breast exams, or exams of other intimate areas of the body. Some complained they were improperly draped or naked during these examinations. One of Sloka's lawyers, Jill Makepeace, told court doctors touch people. Physical examinations are an inherent part of what they do, going on to say there are legitimate medical reasons for doctors touching intimate parts of the body. Makepeace argues that if the Crown fails to prove that there was a sexual intent or motive behind Sloka's actions, Justice Craig Perry should acquit him on all charges. Makepeace says the doctor-patient relationship is different than in cases where coaches, tutors, or parents are accused of sexual assault. Makepeace citing a few cases involving doctors saying these cases turn on whether or not the Crown establishes a sexual purpose. The Crown says while doctors are permitted to touch intimate body parts under some circumstances, that does not mean it is appropriate in all cases. Prosecutor Julia Forward saying many of the women felt their sexual integrity was violated. She also noted that Sloca's detailed notes almost never included a mention of exams of these areas, saying there was an absence of any explicit recording of vaginal, breast, or naked skin exams, with the odd exception. Forward told court Sloca's patients were vulnerable and often desperate for answers to their medical problems. Forward described in detail one 20-year-old patient who was seen for concussion concerns and ended up having a vaginal and breast exam. Sloca later testified it was because he had concerns she had cancer that had metastasized to other parts of the body. But those specific exams were not mentioned in his notes, nor did he discuss it when talking with the patient's mother later. Even if he legitimately thought he was doing something for medical good, what he did violated her sexual integrity, Forward told court. The day ended with Sloca's lawyers arguing that the evidence of neurologist Dr. Vera Brill, who took the stand as an expert for several days, should be declared inadmissible. The defense is arguing that she became an advocate for the Crown and too biased to be a proper expert. Dr. Brill, for instance, testified that neurologists never do breast exams, though the defense argues that didn't take into account that Sloca had some training to do them, and that in one instance, Dr. Brill herself did one on one of her own patients after the patient demanded it. The trial continues tomorrow.
It was a regular Friday night for Plaza Sushi Masonville owner Won-Suk Chang until a group of high school girls asked if they could use the washroom.
They never come back, and then they grabbed all our belongings.
Chang says they searched through restroom supplies and stole items before leaving the premises. He says shortly after, 2 more girls entered requesting to use the restroom, but he refused. And that's when things took a turn for the worst.
Sometimes the high school girl hit me, and then sometimes the high school boy hit me.
Chang says there was a group of 20 students blocking the restaurant entrance.
Our customer cannot go outside, so that's the reason why I go outside.
He says the group was yelling and throwing garbage.
Beer, empty can, and they already have a beer, and then I saw the marijuana over there.
CCTV footage obtained by CTV News shows restaurant employees catching wind of the altercation and rushing to help.
We are fighting against each other, but mostly we got hit because we know they are minor.
Chang says a male student pulled a knife out of his pocket and threatened to stab him.
When a second employee intervened, the teen threw a water ball at him before fleeing the area on foot.
London police arrived on scene shortly after and were able to locate and arrest the youth.
A 16-year-old male of London who cannot be named under the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act has been charged with a number of offenses.
Chang says he has sustained a number of injuries as a result of the chaos, including an injury to his jaw and a large contusion on his thigh from a heavy metal object.
This is kind of their stage.
Chang says he hopes the incident will encourage parents to teach their children right from wrong. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
It's been 5 years since Windsor Assembly's third shift was eliminated. Now it's back, along with 1,400 new jobs.
It's a good news story in the auto industry. It's probably the only good news story in Canada today.
The auto giant promising forecasts for versions of the Chrysler Pacifica and the new 6-pack powered Dodge Charger, Scat Pack, and RT models.
So Windsor is an anomaly in the auto industry. The facts are we build 2 strong products and both in isolation. We're the only plant that builds them. So for the short term and the near future, Windsor is in good shape.
But local applicants won't get first pick. Recently, laid-off workers from the Brampton plant will have the opportunity to transfer after Stellantis announced it's moving its Jeep Compass production to Illinois.
According to our collective agreement, have the first opportunity to come and fill those spots. We don't know how many will come. I don't expect it will be huge, but it'll be, that's a big move for people. It's a big move to move up your whole life from the greater Toronto area to the Windsor area, 4 hours away where you're not connected to anybody.
President of Unifor Local 444, James Stewart, says 3,000 people applied for the shift a year and a half ago. For positions not filled by Brampton employees, Stellantis will look at those applicants first before opening it up to the public. Stewart says despite this announcement, we need to continue to fight for the auto industry.
You have to bargain in a way that use the leverage of our critical minerals, our oil and gas, our steel and aluminum, bargain with the idea that there's leverage there to protect the auto industry, to protect softwood lumber.
Production on the third shift is scheduled to begin mid-February of next year.
A chainsaw levels off the base of this pine tree at Ron Paul Garden Center. It will soon be covered with ornaments and tinsel in a customer's house. Ray Dubois, the center's owner, has been watching consumer demand for real trees go down since the COVID-19 pandemic.
They had extra money because they couldn't go on trips, so let's make it a real Christmas, right? So we saw our peak then. Since that time, though, it has dropped off and it's kind of leveled out now.
Dubois says the pandemic caused a surge in tree supply as tree farms adjusted to keep up with demand. He says it takes several years for those trees to hit the market. Now that the trees have arrived, Dubois has no shortage of supply.
We're in that 5 to 7 year sweet spot. So now this year we were contacted by tree farms asking if we needed trees, which is a first for me since like 2015.
Last year, Dubois said he gave away 400 Christmas trees at the end of the season based on decreased demand. He says existing tariffs and tension with the U.S. is also driving down sales.
A producer out of Nova Scotia was saying that his tree sales into the United States have completely vanished.
However, that hasn't slowed tree sales everywhere locally. Just down the street at St. Mary's Nursery Garden Center, owner Carla Hertzina says while the price of Christmas trees have gone up, real tree enthusiasts have kept up the demand.
The people that are coming in looking for fresh cut trees, they are an adamant fresh cut tree person, and they are still finding some good selections of trees that are out there.
The owners say only time will tell how many trees will be left at the end of the season. Back at Ron Paul, Mike Herman and his wife Giselle are committed to fresh trees. They say it's a must-need for their holiday season.
We've never not had a real tree.
We've always had a real tree.
So now we have a combination. We have one fake, one real.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Christmas?
Yeah.
You know?
It makes Christmas real.
Christmas is gotta have a tree.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We're losing people. They're falling through the cracks.
Chantel Huell spends her days connecting to those on the streets of Saskatoon.
Every person that we meet is actually human and they deserve to live.
She's constantly reminded of the human cost. After surviving addictions herself, she now helps others. She questions government plans to get people the help they need.
People calling the shots that have never lived addictions, that have never been homeless, that have never stuck a needle in their arm before tucking their children in goodnight. They've never lived on the street.
Last week, Saskatchewan's health ministry issued toxic drug alerts for Saskatoon and Regina. After that, the provincial NDP called for immediate expansion of detox and treatment services.
People are dying every single day. People are overdosing from the poisonous drugs that are out on the street.
The Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Lori Carr, said this today about 500 new treatment spaces being introduced.
We already have just about 300 of those spaces in place, and of course with the goal of getting to those 500 as soon as we can, Mr. Speaker. So we look forward to all of those spaces being open, evaluating exactly what is in our system and what needs to come next.
Last week, Carr said once they have all the spaces open, a central intake system should be up and running, which will provide a comprehensive list of those who need help and work towards getting them appropriate level of service. Huell wants to see better coordination between treatment centers and outreach workers, which could save lives.
I'm a person with lived experience. I have 7 years in recovery.
The province told CTV News in an email, last week we announced an additional investment of up to $20 million over 3 years to expand homelessness services and enhance supports for individuals experiencing homelessness. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.